Hello everyone, this is Doe and welcome back to the channel. August the Mad Knight is finally here. Today we're breaking down what makes him a top tier physical DPS, digging into his strengths, and exploring why he's becoming a fan favorite. I'll also share a handy workaround for his short-legged struggle on larger maps and highlight the awesome synergy he has with Safiyyah. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Auguste is a breaker aligned with the Union and Aggression factions. He's a no-nonsense physical DPS, stacking rage to unleash relentless attacks. His trait, Sword of Wrath, lets him ignore block, ensuring even the toughest enemies can't stop his assault. Every time Auguste initiates an active attack or enters standby, he gains 1 stack of rage, up to a maximum of 6. Each stack boosts his attack by 3%, giving him up to an 18% increase at full stacks. Once Auguste reaches 6 rage stacks and uses a skill or basic attack, he consumes all his stacks and acts again, entering Rage Outburst for 2 turns. In this state, Rage Outburst 1 adds 40% of his magic attack to his physical attack, blending magical power with brute force. At 2 stars, Auguste gains 2 rage stacks from the start of the battle, giving him a faster ramp up. At 3 stars, Rage Outburst 1 evolves into Rage Outburst 2, increasing the magic attack added to 70%. On top of that, he recovers 1 energy whenever he enters this state. At 4 stars, he starts battles with 4 rage stacks instead of 2, allowing him to hit his peak even faster. Finally, at 5 stars, he not only recovers 2 energies, but also gains armor piercing through Rage Outburst 3, making him a terrifying force against even the most heavily armored foes. With all these upgrades, Auguste becomes a top-tier DPS well worth the investment. If you're a whale with a budget of 300 plus pulls a month, aiming for 3 or 4 stars at his debut is a solid strategy. For dolphins, low spenders, or F2P players, I recommend farming his shards to reach 5 stars. Eventually, unlocking his full potential is absolutely worth the grind. Now, let's jump into a battle to see how Auguste performs. For this run, I've equipped him with Extermination as his basic attack. This skill deals 100% damage to a single target and drains 1 energy from the enemy, great for controlling tricky opponents. For his reaction skill, I've selected Contempt, which reduces incoming damage by 15%. On top of that, whenever Auguste is attacked, he gains 1 stack of rage, and this can trigger up to twice per round, helping him ramp up quickly. To kick things off, I've chosen his initial skill, Wrath Swift. This ability lets Auguste charge at an enemy, dealing 40% damage and knocking them back by 1 tile, perfect for disrupting enemy formations and terrain kills. Once used, this skill transforms into Wrath, Snap for the next 2 turns. Wrath, Snap deals 80% damage to all enemies in a 3x2 area and applies physical defense down 2 for 2 turns, softening them up for follow-up attacks. After using Snap, the skill shifts to Wrath, Scorch, which delivers a heavy blow, dealing 160% damage to the primary target and 80% damage to any other enemies in range, while also knocking them back by 1 tile. Finally, after unleashing Scorch, the skill resets back to Wrath, Swift completing the cycle. This rotating kit ensures that Auguste stays dynamic on the battlefield, dishing out consistent damage and keeping enemies off balance with his charging attacks and AoE follow-ups. Next up, let's see how Auguste performs with the same setup, but this time in a party that's tailored to complement his strengths and the specific challenges of the stage.
共に戦おう。ありがとう。なんでも感謝します。 共に戦おう。ありがとう。
速さこそ武器だ。甘い。
いいぞ。一気に蹴りをつけろ。えいっ。脆い。後悔するがいい。
Before we dive into another battle showcase, let's take a quick look at the equipment I've got on Auguste. After some testing and advice from friends on another server, I've found that the Feast Axe is the most suitable weapon for him. I know, it's a bit of a shift from what I recommended in my weapon video last month prior to having access to the test server, but after putting it through its paces, this axe with a sword engraving has proven to be the ideal choice. Its damage modifier works best when Auguste has a higher HP percentage than his target, and it really brings out his full potential. For his trinket, I've gone with the Flying Blade arm guard with a wand engraving. This setup improves his action economy, letting him chain attacks more effectively within a turn and keeping the pressure on. When it comes to Tarot Whispers, I recommend the Magician for stages that focus on area of effect damage. Alternatively, you can swap in the Devil for some scenarios where burst damage matters more. I've also experimented with Justice and the Sun tarot cards, especially against bosses, and they've performed well too. If you have other tarot suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. One skill I frequently bring is Warm Touch, a passive that deals additional piercing damage equal to 15% of the target's current HP and heals Auguste for 10% HP. This pairs beautifully with the Feast Axe, as the weapon's effectiveness scales with Auguste maintaining higher HP than his target. Another useful skill to consider before you get Auguste to 5 stars is Hassle. It ramps up his rage stacks, allowing you to trigger his Rage Outburst combo as early as the second turn. This makes it a solid pick during the earlier phases of his progression. Lastly, I recommend the Sword and Wand Resonance for Auguste. Since he often needs to reposition himself during attacks, this resonance helps him maintain energy efficiency and keeps his momentum going throughout battle. Speaking of battles, I've found that Auguste and Safiyyah have excellent synergy. Auguste's short-legged nature often means he struggles with mobility, requiring some clever maneuvering to reach key targets. As you've seen before, managing his movement is crucial to keeping his rage cycle flowing smoothly. I found a neat trick by using Safiyyah's summons as a bridge to help Auguste reach enemies more effectively. Her summoned agents not only provide utility and weaken enemies with Hanged Man's Mark, but they can also serve as stepping stones, allowing Auguste to close the distance and stay aggressive without wasting turns. Let's jump in and see this dynamic duo in action.
共に戦おう。ありがとう。なんでも感謝します。ご飯だよ。
いい
指示を願います。よく
一気に蹴りをつけろ。
速さこそ武器だ。イリアのために。
どうしたらいいの？
火を見て動こう。終わらせる。
何か私にお手伝いできること。
礼を言う。
何でもして。指示を願います。
一気に蹴りをつけろ。無駄な抵抗後悔するがいい。
速さこそ武器だ。
いいぞ。
任せていた。
いいぞ。
うしたらいいの？
サフィ
何か私にお手伝いできることは？
礼を言う。
何でも言って。指示を願います。
いいぞ。一気に蹴りをつける。脆い。
動じるな。つけ込まれる。
いいぞ。
Alright, let's move on to August's skill tree selection and the choices I've made. These picks are based on what's worked well in my testing so far, though you might find other setups that better fit your style or the stages you're tackling. At rank 1, I haven't really used either of the available skills much, but I went with Crumbling Smash because it gives a 3% HP. For rank 3, I made sure to grab both Hassle and Warm Touch. As I mentioned earlier, Hassle is crucial since it helps build up rage quickly, giving August access to his Rage Outburst combo by the second turn. Warm Touch is just as essential thanks to the synergy with the Feast Axe. Its piercing damage and healing effect really add to August's sustainability, so both skills are must-haves in my opinion. At rank 5, I chose Contempt. Not only does it reduce incoming damage, but it also helps accelerate rage generation, which is key for keeping August's momentum going. This skill has been particularly useful when trying to set up his Rage Outburst efficiently. I also activated Strength Activation for its extra 3% attack. For rank 7, I went with Attack Command primarily for the 3% HP boost it provides. I've also used this aura against a boss before, though I'll admit the situations where it truly shines are fairly niche. Still, it's nice to have that extra bit of survivability in longer fights. When I reached rank 9, I opted for Extermination as his basic attack. The energy depletion effect is incredibly useful for controlling enemies who rely heavily on energy to activate their abilities, adding a bit more strategy to August's playstyle. Finally, for rank 11, I decided to grab both skills. In most situations, I've been leaning toward his area of effect ultimate, especially when facing multiple enemies. However, Overlord's Roar has its place too, depending on the fight. Both nodes provide extra 3% attack, making them solid options, and I can definitely see value in switching between them based on the stage or enemy composition. With this setup, August becomes a versatile, aggressive DPS capable of adapting to different scenarios while maintaining his relentless momentum. If you have other skill suggestions or use cases you'd like to share, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what's been working for you. To wrap things up, August is a powerhouse physical DPS who thrives on building rage and unleashing devastating attacks. His synergy with Safiyyah helps cover his mobility challenges, and with the right setup, like the Feast Axe and Flying Blade Arm Guard, he becomes a relentless force on the battlefield. His skill tree choices, from Warm Touch for sustain to Extermination for energy control, offer both flexibility and raw power. Whether you're a whale aiming for 3 or 4 stars at launch, or a F2P player farming him to 5 stars, August is definitely worth the investment for your team. And maybe someday, you'll be able to do something like this in the future.
지원 감사합니다.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've got any other build ideas or tarot suggestions for August, let me know down in the comments. Stay cool, stay crispy. This is Doe signing off. See you in the next video.